Hiya, it's Louise. So just a little video basically going through everything that our cohort has gone through for the last 12 days, I think it is, since 7th of January. So just a little catch-up video really. I'm pretty much going to be going through my notes, but I'll be doing some screenshots, screen videoing, and showing just basically what we've done. I think quite a lot of our cohort are quite anxious that they're missing something or they're not getting everything. So I'm not saying that I know everything at all, but I've been keeping quite detailed notes through the lectures, which I would definitely suggest that everybody needs to do. So I think some of the questions that have been requested are things like how to access general timetabling, to check that your group numbers. Now I have made a separate video for this, so I would come back out of this video and go into that. I'll see if I can link it. How to check pre and post session work. So this is basically going to be something that you'll do pretty much every day. So you'll be going into courses and going into the module activities. So going into the module, then going into the module activities, and basically looking at your timetable and seeing what you have, say tomorrow. So you'll do and check in if there's any pre-work that needs to be done tomorrow. So go into the lecture link, and so tomorrow I think we have. So tomorrow we have building personal resilience and well-being from 10 till 12:30. Now I went on to there, and there is some pre-work, which is reading the RCNI link on there, and it gives the link on there, and reading the well-being toolkit. So you know, going on to there, I'm not sure if I wrote down they are pre or post, so just have a look on there. But basically every day what you'll be doing is going onto there, looking at the lecture, doing the lecture that you've just done, let's say. So I've just done the one on Tuesday, and we didn't have any pre-work to do for that. There was a little bit of confusion over that about reading, but we had some post session work to do. So basically my plan now is to get that post session work done this afternoon. I've had a little bit of a break, get that post session work done this afternoon, and then once that's done, then I'll be looking at tomorrow's course, tomorrow's lecture. So I'll be going back into module activities, looking at tomorrow's lecture and seeing if there's any pre-work that needs to be done for that. I'm not even going to bother looking at what post work needs to be done, because that's to be done after the lecture. So that's what I'll be doing after tomorrow's lecture. So basically you're just looking at what post work needs to be done from this lecture we've just done today, and what pre-work needs to be done for the lecture tomorrow. That's pretty much it. I mean, the reason that we have all this extra work going on is because we've only just started. So things like accessing PebblePad and the workbooks and doing the mandatory training, you know, we only have to do that the once, I'm pretty sure. You know, once the workbooks are done, they'll probably give us more workbooks next year, I think they were saying. So the mandatory training, I think, has to be done yearly. So at the beginning of each year it is going to be a little bit more work, you know, so maybe the quicker you get those done the better really. But the mandatory training, I would personally, they have scheduled time in our timetables to do that, but personally I would get that done as soon as you can. You know, you access that through, I did do a video in our chat, but you access the mandatory training through going onto the 20/21 pre-veg nursing course. And then you go into there, and in the menu scroll down and you'll find mandatory training, and you go from there. Just work your way through them all. Apparently there is one that's supposed to be a course called consent. That isn't there, and we've had a message. We queried that, Charlie queried that, and we've received a message now, or an update on our activities, basically saying that that's not available at the moment. So I'm sure when that is going to be available, that will be told to us. But you know, you've got fire on there, you've got resuscitation, you've got governance, etc., etc. Just work your way through all of those and get them done. I know that we also have mandatory training, face-to-face mandatory training. So we've got basic life support, so BLS, manual handling, and I think conflict resolution. So at the moment, BLS is going ahead. As far as I'm aware, BLS is definitely going ahead at the moment. Due to lockdown, they're not doing the manual handling or the conflict resolution. So I know I received an email yesterday saying, oh, this is your date and time for your manual handling next week. We then received an email a few hours later saying, look, these aren't going ahead, they're going to be rescheduled. So that's basically what's happening with that. So don't worry about those too much. I mean, look in your timetable for when that is scheduled for, and just keep an eye out on your activities, on your you know, on the updates. I would definitely suggest downloading both the UoN app and the Blackboard app onto your phone. I'm using both of those, you know, both of those to do my work. So Blackboard is literally just Nile, and the UoN app is basically the student hub. But if you try and access Nile through the student hub, it doesn't really work that great. So whereas the Blackboard app is really good. It basically comes straight up on your activity stream, so any updates today, yesterday, etc. is all coming up straight on there. You can access the courses and the PDFs, etc. on there just absolutely fine. The UoN app is good for accessing your general timetable. So accessing like your central timetable. So you go onto there and you'd click it's either timetable or calendar. I think once it's all sorted, it comes up as calendar, and that's where you'll find your group numbers. So I know they confused us in creating group lists on Nile. Forget them. They've screwed up. So they're saying that for our lessons where we're in groups, you need to be looking at the central timetable and going from there. So that's that really. And I have put a little video in the chat of how to get to that. But basically it's through Student Hub that you get to the central timetable. So it's not the module timetable, it's the central timetabling. Get to that through Student Hub, and that's how you do that. And of the video that's on my YouTube channel that's accessing the general timetables, that's how you get onto there. So what else? The PebblePad workbooks. Okay, so the PebblePad workbooks are workbooks that are pretty much anatomy and physiology, so A&P, tissues and cells, A&P, sleep, A&P, whatever. Now they have timetabled these into our module timetables, and we have, myself and Charlie have kind of decided that we will run a group session on the timetable at the times that this timetable has kind of specified, just so everybody sort of knows when that's going to be. So at the moment, so on our module timetables, it's on the 26th of January. It says self-directed A&P, human body, cells and tissues. Now that, if you carry on looking through the timetable, you will find that, so we've got that scheduled in to do our workbook on the 26th, and I think that is because we are scheduled in to do that lecture the next Tuesday, the next week, on the 2nd of February. So these workbooks basically have to be done, each workbook has to be done before the relevant lecture. So if you've kind of just started and just clicked any one, really the first one you want to be doing is the human body, cells and tissues workbook, because that's the first one that we have a lecture on. And then I think the next one after that is pharmacology. if I'm right. But yeah, basically work your way through, and you know, when it's timetabled into our timetable. So I think the next one after the 26th is going to be Friday the 29th, and that is pharmacology. So we will run, we'll work out a time, but myself and Charlie will run a group session, again in the course e-classroom, just so everyone can do it together. I mean, we have to be careful that we're not each putting the same question or same answers in, but you know, to give each other a little bit of support and being there for each other, really making, you know, there's absolutely no reason for anybody in our cohort to be left behind. You know, I did the beginning of the, you know, this is now the degree in nursing, you can only do that, but in 2010 I started the diploma of nursing, and you know, that was 11 years ago, and yes, we had Facebook and stuff like that, but you know, there was absolutely nowhere near the type of support or, you know, anything like what we're doing. So, you know, anything like that. And I felt like I was being left behind, or like I wasn't as up to date as other people. You know, some people were rushing ahead, and I was like, how on earth did they know any of that? How did they know to do that or anything like that? And I just, I mean, I was a lot younger then, and I kind of saw I moved to uni and I partied. I kind of spent a lot of my time kind of socializing, having a great time, working a lot. I was working on the bank a lot to try and support myself, and I didn't give the course enough of my full attention. There were various other reasons as to why I didn't finish the course, but I ended up leaving basically towards the middle to end of year 2. So my aim was to make sure that that does not happen again this time. I'm giving absolutely everything to this course. I am going to have to work a bit because I live on my own with 2 cats. As you can see, they love it when I'm on the laptop. They can't get enough of it. But because of that, I'm single, and because of that, I don't have another wage coming in. If I am getting my student loan, I'm getting bursary of £5,000 a year as well. So that's that's tiding me over, but it literally barely pays the bill. So I'm going to have to work a bit, but I'm not going to let it get into do what it did last time. So basically, there's absolutely no reason for anybody, and I made sure right from the out of starting this course, and the reason why I from the first day pretty much set up the Facebook group, set up the WhatsApp group, is to make sure that nobody feels like they're left behind, because there's just absolutely no need for it. All of us know something about something, or we've taken some part of information in that one of the others hasn't, or whatever. I'm sure that although I've done as much detailed noting as I can, I'm absolutely positive that there's going to be things that I haven't taken down that somebody else has. So we need to get each other through this. I mean, bearing in mind though that all of us are students, and we also have to take responsibility for our own learning. So as much as I am always willing to help anybody, and as well as Charlie, we're always happy to help people that need it or whatever. I'm not going to do your work for you, and to be honest, you probably wouldn't want me to do either. So the videos that I have made in the group chat and everything, please watch them, use them. The documents I've put up, etc., please, they've taken me time to do, so please do go into on there. I mean, I can show you on WhatsApp. I'm not sure if it's going to show you exactly on here very well, but if I, wow, 85, so I've only left my phone alone for an hour, and it's 85 messages in the group chat and 7 notifications of my name. Great. So if I show on here, this is our group WhatsApp chat. Now if I tap this bit up here with the name, and then if it says media, links and docs, so tap there. Now up here it says you're on the, I think you're on the media, so that's photos and videos, you know, so you can see all of the videos. So at the moment we've got 56 videos and 181 photos have been shared in here. So, you know, all the videos that I've made, etc., you know, are in there. Same as the links that have been shared in the group. You've got you know, the links for the other video that I've made, etc., links that people have put up to different websites, you know, when they were looking at shoes and stuff, and also documents. So when I sent the document, I downloaded the first chapter of post reading for today's lesson. You know, I put that in there. You know, even though I did that, you know, a couple of hours, you know, or even a couple of minutes later, people were still asking for the same thing. So, you know, just taking a few minutes just to go through what it is that I've, you know, or everybody else in the chat has already put on there, is going to make, you know, things just a little bit easier for everybody, because we all have our own studies to do, and as much as, you know, everybody wants to help each other, and it's absolutely essential that we do, because we're all going to need something from somebody at some point in this course, you know. So basically, so if I come back, you know, so just double checking, so going into there, tapping the top bit up here. I mean, this is for an iPhone, but I'm kind of assuming it's the same for all different phones, and then going into media, links and docs, and here you've got the different videos and pictures that have been shared in the group, and then up here going into links, so that's all the different websites, and I've put a few links to my YouTube on there, the ones that I've made, and then docs, so that's the documents, PDFs, etc., that have been uploaded. All right, just take you know, just take you know, take a bit of time just to go through those before, you know, asking a question. You know, as much as, you know, ask a question if you need to, but maybe just have a look and see if the answer is already in the chat. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I mean, you've got Nelson, which is on the library, so you can access that through the student hub. So accessing that through there, that's just your NILE passwords, and there are videos actually on Nelson and guides of how to use it. So you know, hopefully I won't have to make a complete video of that, but yeah. So basically, I mean, the only thing we need to kind of really be looking at is this, I suppose there's three things really that we, well, maybe four, the things that we kind of should have done or should be doing at the moment. We're not looking at assignments at the moment. They have not been set, so nobody needs to be thinking about assignments at the moment. Yes, there is information on NILE about it. I haven't even looked at it, to be honest, because there's no point. There's absolutely no point until we start getting told about it, and you know, it's just pointless. It's just people are, you know, if some people want to run ahead and get on with that, that's great, but it doesn't mean that actually the work that they're doing is right. You know, we have got lessons on our assignment, which I don't think is an essay. It's a leaflet and a video that we have to do. So, you know, don't stress about that at all. And that is on, so Thursday the 21st, so in 2 days we're going to, it's communication 2, and then we are being introduced to the assignment, which is a simulation. You know, so until then, don't worry about it. Honestly, don't worry about this. We don't need to be looking at that. So the things that we do need to be looking at are making sure that the groups that our lesson groups are correct, and we do that through central timetabling, getting on with our mandatory training, the e-activity or /e-activities, they're called in, yeah, sometimes they call them e-activities, sometimes they call them mandatory training. We will be starting to get on with our PebblePad workbooks. You know, if you feel that you can get on with those without anybody else helping or whatever, then, you know, go for it. But I'm personally going to wait until the 26th when it's scheduled. I'm just going to do it with everybody else. and you want to be doing them in order of the lessons that we're going to be having them in. So the first lesson we're going to be having in relation to our pebble pad workbooks is the human body / cells and tissues, so you want to be making sure you're doing that workbook first. And next is about the pre and post session work. So like I said, we've had a lecture today, which is communication 1, verbal communication. So I'm going to be going into I haven't done it yet, so this afternoon. So my plan is then this afternoon I'm going to be going into the module, so the courses, the module NRP 1027, and going into the module activities, and then finding communication 1, verbal communication. And I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see where it says post session work, and then I'm going to do that work. So there's a link for an NMC to read, read that properly, read what it says that you have to do in your post session work detailed, don't just, read it a few times. I always remember, in my GCSEs or whatever, being told to read a question twice or even 3 times before you go to answer it. I don't always do that, and I end up, not reading something properly and completely going off in the wrong direction. But, if it just says read something, then you just have to read it. If it says you have to do a questionnaire or whatever, do the questionnaire. So yeah, so that's the post. So then once I've completed that post session work that it's told me to do, so I think today's was reading a chapter and reading the page 27 to 30 of the NMC regarding NMC code regarding communication. The link is there. And then what I'm going to do, so once I've completed the post session work for today's lecture, I'm then going to look at tomorrow's lecture and see what pre-work needs to be done. And I'm going to do that every day, basically. And that's, like they said, we're supposed to, they're logging us as 37.5 hours theory a week. We have only got, sometimes only 2 hours or 2.5 hours of lectures each day. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes we haven't actually, it's just written down as self-directed. And so like next Friday it's just written down as self-directed. So yes, you could think, hey, day off, or you could think, well, actually I'm supposed to be doing 7.5 hours today, so I'm going to at least do a few hours of some of the work. You're going to get at least one of the work pads done, or a couple of the mandatory trainings done maybe in that time. So use your time wisely. As much as, yes, I mean, I am terrible at getting up in the morning, so there's absolutely no chance you're going to get me up before 10 if I don't have to be. And that's that really. There's nothing else to be done apart from if your tutor has emailed you asking for your personal story. So I have done that already and I've sent that back to them. That's really important, because, or if your personal tutor has asked you to meet with them at a certain time or whatever, that's your thing with them. That's, it's not everybody's. And that's about it really. If people are running ahead and looking at a couple of weeks times pre-work or whatever, honestly, let them get on with it, because I'm personally not going to be working that way, because it just gets me, it adds to confusion and stuff. So but yeah, I mean, look at the things that we've put into the WhatsApp group chat. Look at the media that we've put in, the documents, that kind of thing. I hope this has been helpful as to where we are at the moment. If there is anything else that you want to ask, then please just go through it. Just you want to go through it with me, then just message me. But I hope, I hope that this has been a little bit helpful, at least to some of you who are nervous that you've missed something or whatever. I really don't think you have. But we're going to be in the session class at 2 o'clock. So I will see you then. Bye. Bye.